So for today's intervals, we're going to be working 25 seconds on, 12 seconds of rest. So our rest is about half the segment of our work interval. So we're going to get started with a warm up and then we'll jump into it. Get my watch going here. Grab some water. All right. So for the warm up, we're going to do 3 sets. 3 sets of everything today. So we're going to start with a march. You can start with small steps and gradually build up to a higher knee lift. So go with what you're comfortable with. Big exaggerated arm swing to get the blood flowing. And take a break. So that's what the 25 seconds will feel like. 12 seconds of rest. Next move we have is a stretch and balance. So it's opposite arm, opposite leg. We're going to grab that back foot or ankle and hold for a half second and switch. If you aren't able to grab hold, you can just tap and release. Working the balance, stretching through the lat and stretching through the front of our leg with our quadriceps. Very good. So the next one, it is a variation of the knee hug. We're going to grab more at the ankle and lift that knee up and out to the side. That's our go. So it's with all movements, work to your flexibility level. You'll really feel this one deep in the hip flexor, and working our balance as we do in functional fitness. All right, we're going to bring those feet nice and wide, toes pointed forward or slightly out to the side. We're going to bend to one side, opposite leg straight, and we're going to reach opposite hand to opposite foot, stretching out the inner thighs, shifting the weight back in our heel. Good. And then last move for warm up before we take it from the top, we're going to go to about a shoulder width stance. And we're going to do a quarter squat pull. So we're not squatting very low yet, about halfway down, pulsing, and then pressing back up through the heels. Feeling the back of the legs light up. Core is activated to keep our bodies upright on top. Good. So that was round 1 of the warm-up. We're going to go through it a couple more times. Make sure everything's nice and loose. We're going to go back to the high knee or elevated knee marching. So now that we're a little bit more warm, maybe you can lift that knee a bit higher, picking that toe up. Imagining that invisible string tied to your knee to the ceiling and lifting you up. Great job. We have our opposite arm, opposite leg reach. On these, try to keep your knees fairly close together. Stretch out. So lifting through, nice and tall. The extended arm will help keep your balance. Working on some breath here. Try not to hold your breath. All right. Then we have the side knee hug. Reaching more for the ankle here. All right. again, now that we're more warm, maybe you have a little bit more range in this movement. Standing nice and tall. All right, great job. Feet wide. We're going to bend and touch, opposite hand, opposite foot. So super wide stance here. Stretching through the inner leg. Sitting back in the heel to activate the glute. Nice, deep bend now that we're warm. All right, and then we're back to that quarter squat with a pulse. Or maybe more of a half squat now that we're warm. Sitting back a little bit deeper. Pulse at the bottom, press back up. Maybe moving a little bit faster. Great, so we're gonna go through those one more time, but let's go backwards. So we're gonna start right back where we ended up. Let's do a full squat this time. So bring the legs a little bit wider apart, thinking lower in our pulse. Now we're really sitting back in our heels. Pressing the knees apart, don't allow the knees to collapse in. Balancing books on top of our head. Good. Take a drink whenever you need it. Next one, we're going to go back super wide legs. Opposite hand, opposite foot reach. Bending the leg that you're reaching for. Sit back in the heel. Good. This time, instead of a side knee pull, we're going to do a march, but also a side knee movement in that march. So working our coordination a little bit, getting our hands out of the way. Still working that side knee motion, more of a march stance. Still working a lot of balance. All right, opposite arm, opposite leg is up next. Here we go. You can move slow or fast here. Trying to reach that full range of motion. Great, last one. We are just back to our march. I'm going to do a double tap to give myself some variety, but it's up to you if you want to keep it to the original. I'm just tapping my toe down. Almost like a pulse, but for one leg at a time. So immediately after this, we're going to go into our main set. We're actually going to start with upper body and core today, and then move on to legs. And after legs, all we have is a cool down. So for upper body and core, we're mostly going to be down on the mat. First move is a mountain climber. You can be on your palms or your forearms. So we're setting up in that plank position, drawing that knee into our elbow. Same knee, same elbow. working our core, working our breath. Hip bones putting down. And we're going to go through this 3 times. So if you need to watch the first round, you can. You'll still have an opportunity to practice. Very good. We're going to set up in a side plank. So forearm down at a 90-degree angle. Front leg is straight. Back leg is bent. And we're going to hold here. It doesn't matter what side you're on. We're going to switch sides down the line. So front leg is straight, back leg is bent to help support. And then reaching that top arm over. I'm just working on a little bit of breath work here. All right, rolling over. We're going to work some push-ups. We're going to set up on the knees. But we're going to drop the hips. So you're not on all fours, you're dropping the hips low. And then pretend to kiss your mat. Press back up. So elbows shoot back. Triceps shoot back. Work at your own pace. All right. We're going to set up in our opposite side plank. So opposite forearm this time. Elbow 90-degree angle. Front leg is straight. Back leg is bent to support your body. Reaching through that top arm. And we're just holding still here. Working on our breath. Sometimes these static isometric movements are more challenging than the moving component. Just working on breath. Slow and controlled. All right, from here, we're actually going to come up to our feet. And we're going to get a nice wide base stance, knees soft, which means knees are slightly bent. We're going to work on our uppercuts. So flexing the bicep, rotating from the core. So strong abs here. Arm comes up and across, working at your own pace. Use your core muscles to control the motion. Hips stay relatively still. Great. And since this is our core segment, we're back down to a plank. Hands or elbows. So here, we're going to set up and then reach forward one arm at a time. If this is too advanced, you can just hold a regular plank. But I'm just tapping one hand forward, bringing it back. Tapping the other hand forward, bringing it back. Trying to keep my pelvis stable, not rotating too much. From here, we're going to sit down. Knees are bent. Hands are right behind my body. We're going to press up into a reverse plank and kick one leg at a time. Tuck the chin. So pressing through the triceps, pressing up through the hips. One leg kicks, then the other. Or you can simply hold a reverse plank. All right, relax. That was round one of core. So we're going to go back to our mountain climbers. So setting up in a higher low plank. Near elbow, knee to elbow. Same side. Keeping the hips level. Working our abdominals, working our breath. Ooh, great job. Lowering down into side plank, either side. Elbow 90 degrees. Front leg straight, back leg bent. Pressing up. Top arm comes up to help balance you. So here you're going to feel a bit in your shoulder and the bottom half of your core. Remember to breathe here. You can reposition your arm if you need to find more comfort in your shoulder, your neck. Try to keep our neck in alignment with our spine. We're not arching the neck forward. All right, we have our push-up. So stand up in all fours first, but then drop the hips and pretend to kiss the floor. Great work. Opposite side plank. Elbow bent 90 degrees. Front leg straight. Back leg bent for support. To make it harder, you can put more weight to the front leg. You can even stack the feet if you want that extra challenge. Up to you here. Great job. Back on our feet. Our nice ready position stance, knees bent. Ready to work on our uppercuts. Underhand. Squeeze the biceps. Rotate from the core. A little bit of power behind this movement. Keep the weight in your heels. All right, setting up in high or low plank. And then if you choose to, we're going to reach forward and touch, alternating arms. So high plank or low plank. It's all about our stability through the hips. So we're trying not to over rotate as we reach. Work on breath. Take your time. And from here, we roll over. Sitting down, knees are bent. Hands right behind our glutes. We're going to press up through the heels. You can hold it here, or you can add the kick. Tuck your chin. Try to keep your hips high. Great job. Sip some water. We're going to take it to our third and final round of core work. Back with our mountain climbers. So we're in that plank position. Elbow to knee. Pressing our weight over the heels of our hands. Great. Side plank. Elbow bend at 90. Front leg straight. Back leg bent for support, or you can stack the feet for an extra challenge. Reaching nice and tall here. Working on our breath. Reach high. A few more seconds. You can do it. Relax, roll over for push-up. Start out in all fours, but then sink the hips. That's our go. Shooting the elbows back, elbows close to the side, really emphasizing the triceps here, as well as our pecs. All right, let's knock off that last side plank, so opposite side. That's our go. If you aren't quite ready to stack the feet, you can just kind of shift more weight to that front leg so that the bottom half of your core takes on more. Remember to breathe. Great. Back up on our feet. Last round of uppercuts. So wide athletic stance. Knees soft, ready to move. And then we're rotating using our core. So abdominals are tight. Controlling the rotation. Hips aren't pivoting. Abs are pivoting. Good. We have our high plank or low plank with a front touch tap. So sink those hips. Last plank of the day. Working on not rotating those hips. Whew, that's a tough one. All right, and then sitting down. Hands close to our glutes, press through the heels. Hips up, optional kick. Lead with the heel. All right, we're going to take a few extra seconds break here. If you need to towel off, grab some extra water. We're going to move on to lower body. We're done with planks. Okay. We're going to work the legs, the glutes, the hamstrings. Same format. So 25 seconds work, 12 seconds rest. Let's go ahead and get started while we're still warm, our heart rates are up. So we're going to do a deep squat with a 1 second hold. So when I say deep squat, that's going to be different for everybody. So we're going to come sink down, hold for a second, push back through the heels. Sink down, hold, push back through the heels. And you're really springing up after holding at the bottom for a second or two. So you can work at your own pace here, finding your own level of a deep squat. Keeping your head held high. All right, next one. We do a lot of reverse lunges because they're great for our balance. They're easier on our knees. So we're going to start with our feet together. Step or lunge back. And if you really want to challenge, you can add that knee lift. Completely optional. Use your arms to help. So you can step or do a full lunge backwards. And then optional knee lift. Really working the glutes, the back of our legs. All right, we're going to come back to the mat. Bridge position, knees bent. Hands pressed firmly into the floor. We're going to do a bridge walk out here. So one foot walks out, other foot walks out, walk it in, walk it in. So out, out, in, in. I'm starting with my left foot today. And then on the next round, I'll start with my right foot. So just stay consistent with left, right for now. Good work. We're going to come back onto our feet and work a little bit of balance. Bending our knees, One leg balances, we're gonna reach forward, and we're gonna alternate legs. You don't have to reach for the floor. Everyone's gonna be different. Bending through that standing leg, activating the hamstrings, that's the back of our leg between our knee and our glute. Slow and controlled here. And remember, round one is always our practice. All right, so we're going to go back down into the bridge position. This time we're going to do bridge repeat. Single leg. So we're going to go on a right leg, left leg. Sinking to the floor between every rep. So pushing through my right heel, sinking down. Pushing through my left heel. So bridging is a great exercise to activate our glutes and strengthen our lower backs. You can always just choose to hold a bridge here. Bonus sit up. Back on our feet. Feet about shoulder width, so a little bit narrower. We're going to do a chair pose. So sitting back, raising the arms, like the yoga pose. So adding some motion to it. I always find here that in the camera I'm more uneven than I thought. So trying to get those arms evened out at the top. Good work. We're going to come back to our mat. Supporting our head with one arm. Top leg straight, bottom leg can be bent. Side leg lifts. We're not going super high here. We're keeping that tension in the outside of our thigh the entire time. So it's not a super high leg lift. Keeping the work here. All right, back up. Here we have a side-to-side squat. So feet start together, tall. So we're going to squat to one side, stand up. Squat to the other side, stand up. So working our lateral movement, side to side, hitting back in the heels. And then, of course, we have our leg lift on the opposite side before we take it back to the top. So bottom arm supports the head, bottom leg can be bent, front leg is straight, or top leg is straight. Not a super big movement here, but just keeping the work, keeping the tension on the outside of our hip. Remembering to breathe. From here, we're going to roll onto the knees, and we're going to do an alternating donkey kick. So we're on all fours, nice and level, pushing back through the heel, one leg then the other. So it's more about pushing back than up. Straight back. Switch sides. So your glute engage, then come back to your starting point. So back more than up. All right, that's it for the first round. We're going to start back to the top of lower body. So we have our deep squat, holding for a second or two at the bottom, and pressing back through the heels. When you press back up, think power. Hold at the bottom, shoot back up, like a plant shooting through the ground and sprouting. Find your level of depth. Great work. So now we have that tricky balance one, that reverse lunge or step. If the lunge is too much, you can simply step back. And we can add that optional knee lift for the core and for balance. Use your arms here, stay tall. All through the spine. You can focus on something on the floor, stationary to help you with balance. Instead of looking at your screen, that can help. Good work. So we're going to go down to our bridge with our walkout. So I'm going to start with my right foot this time. So after I bridge up, I'm going to do right, left, out, then in. Press through your palms. That will give you stability. Keep your hips up. You can make your steps tiny if you need to modify a bit. You don't have to step super far. Keeping most of the weight in my heels. All right, we have the balanced deadlift. Feet together, knees are bent. You know, you can't really see my knees here. Bending, reaching forward and through, activating the hamstring. You'll probably notice one side is a bit better than the other side. We're working on kind of bringing an equilibrium to both sides of our body. Great work. All right, we're back into our bridge on the floor. This time we're going to do a single leg lift. So one leg pushes through, then the other pushing through the heel. So you'll even feel your lower abs engage here. Almost like a march from a bridge position. Again, pressing through your palms. Great work. You can roll up on your side. We have our chair pose squats. Adding some repetition to our yoga. So keeping our feet a little bit narrower, sitting back, raising the arms up. Trying to get less crooked with every rep. Great work. Side leg lift. Either side, you choose. Bottom leg straight, or bottom leg bent, sorry, top leg straight. Not going super high, keeping tension in the outside of the top leg as you lift and lower. So keep that muscle contracted. We're working here, but you can also use this as an opportunity to catch your breath. Pressing up, side to side squats. So it's a little tricky moving up and down. If you get a little bit dizzy, take your time here, catch your breath. We have our side to side footwork, sitting down and back. Working our lateral movements, good for our brain, it's good for our coordination. And let's bring it down, opposite side leg lift. Oops, I think I need to do on the other side here. Top leg is straight. You can flex that arch a bit, pulling the toe up. Lifting, you'll feel your core work here as well. All right, and then we're going to get into all fours for our donkey kicks. After this one, we'll take a little bit longer rest to get some water. So set up in all fours, press back. Feel the glutes squeeze, and then reset. All right, let's take a little extra time here, not too long, but just enough to get some water. Catch your breath a little bit. We have one more set through of the lower body. You guys are doing a great job. All right, go ahead and get set up in your ready position. We have our deep squat with the second or two hold at the bottom. Deep breath. Last round here. So hold at the bottom, shoot through the heels. Working with our timing a little bit. So you can take any basic exercise and change the rep scheme, the rhythm, the pulses, and make it a completely different exercise. All right, feet together, give yourself some room behind you. Reverse lunge or step with a high knee lift. Use your arms here. Remember, you can stare at the floor or something that's not moving to help with balance. All right, bridge position. So this time I'm going to try and keep track and you left, right, left, left with this step out. But don't worry about it too much. As long as you're moving. Keep the hips up. Great job. Roll to your side. Press up. We have our deadlift reach. Both feet together. Soft knees, so bent knees. Reaching down and forward. Alrighty, let's see. We have our bridge with the single leg lift. So coming back down, pressing through one heel, then the other. Lowering all the way back down between reps. If we can create strong glutes, strong lower back, we're going to prevent a lot of injury, a lot of pain. We stay a lot more independent. Work on your breath. Rolling over, pressing back up. Chair pose, squat. So setting up, feet not quite as wide, arms up and over. Trying to even out. If you're like me, you're a little crooked. In the shoulders, one shoulder is tighter than the other. Like foam rolling is helpful. Great job. Let's do our side leg lift, either side. Top leg straight. You can flex through the arch. Small but efficient. Lift here. You got it. And then we have our side-to-side squat, lateral movement. Setting up feet together. Side squat, Miniature break when we stand, moving to the other side. The head tall. All right, opposite side leg lift. I think I'm on this side. Top leg straight, flex the arch. Small lift. Use the tension in that top leg. Whew. And then we're gonna go into all fours. We have our donkey kick. Our last lower body emphasis movement. So tabletop position, push through the heel. Full extension through the back heel. All right, we'll do another quick pause here to grab water. So from here, all we have is some mobility work and some added balance work. So it's not necessarily core or lower body specific, but it will work some of our range of motion, balance, things like that. We're not too much longer to go. So go ahead and stand up. We're going to take our right hand to our left shoulder, and we're just lifting the elbow up and down. We're going to do this for half of the interval, and then we'll switch sides. So now take your left arm to your right shoulder, and then lift that elbow up and down. So this really helps alleviate shoulder pain, tightness, works your range of motion. All right, from here, you're going to grab hands behind your back. You can pull back or just leave them relaxed. And we're simply going to look from left, center, right, for a really nice deep shoulder, neck, trapezius stretch. We're not forcing the head, but we are striving for a deep stretch. Good. And from here we have our DWI walk, so heel to toe, heel to toe. So depending on how much room you have in your space, 5 or 6 steps forward, 5 or 6 steps back. We're really trying to stack that heel against the toe, going forward and back for the duration of our interval here. Touching heel to toe every time. Good work. We're going to swim the arms. We're going to do a front stroke, one at a time. So legs nice and relaxed. Just bringing the arm up and over one side, then the other. And let's go ahead and go into back stroke, so opposite direction. All right, walk the legs apart. We're going to work our hip circle. So a lot of times here, people will just do a little circle. Really press through the back of your legs and get that hamstring stretch. So we're going to do this entire interval one direction. So just pick a direction, stick with it. Press through the hamstrings and circle all the way through the hips. So it's truly a 180-degree movement, or a 360-degree movement rather, all the way through, pressing through the hamstrings, rest, and then we're going to go the opposite direction. So if you need to reset the feet, you can. All right, opposite way, press through the hamstrings. You should feel a stretch there. Circle through the hips. All right, good. So this next one, we're going to work our knee hug, but we're going to do a knee hug balance on one leg. So we're going to try to grab right below the knee here and just balance and hold for half the interval, and then we'll switch sides. So if you need to grab onto a chair or a wall or reset here, that's perfectly fine. All right, switch sides. Make it tall. And the firmer your grasp, the easier it is to hold your balance here. So if you're not quite here yet, that's okay. This is something to practice and work on. All right, from here, we're going to sit back in the heels, rise up to the toes. So sweep our arms back as we sit back in the heels, and then tippy toe. So it's a rocking movement if you're comfortable with that. Make you a little bit more fluid. If you lose your balance a little bit, that's okay. Just reset. Great job. And the next one, we're going to reach heel, sweep through, reach through the heel, sweep through the heel, step, sweep. Another great stretch for the hamstrings and low back. So from this angle, it looks like this. You can also do these walking if you have room, but for the purpose of this class, we'll stay in place. So I stay in the frame. All right, and then from here, we're going to do a little bit more static stretching, which is always good to save for the end of your workout. So we're going to sit down. We're going to wrap one leg across, other leg is straight. We're going to rotate towards that leg that's wrapped over on top. So big twist here. You'll feel it all the way through your upper body, your shoulder, low back. And then untangle. Opposite leg comes on top, twist towards that leg that's crossed over. Nice and steady. Trying to get some big relaxing breaths in here, even though we're still working, we still have tension in the muscles. And then last one, we're just going to end with butterfly. So pulling the bottoms of our feet together. It's okay. Some people will be higher than others in their legs and knees. Just find a good spot for you today. And if you want to add a little gentle pulse, lifting and lowering, you can do that. So tomorrow we'll have our circuit class at 8:30. You'll need a pair of dumbbells. And next week, Julie will be teaching this class, functional fitness, and Denise will be teaching the circuit training class. So we're going to stick to the same schedule. And then next week as well, we're going to add another chair yoga class, Fridays at 10. So hopefully you guys can keep going strong with the classes. I'm going to go ahead and end the recording here. I'll quickly unmute in case we have any questions. A good class today. Thanks for coming, everybody.